They thought it was just another cheap house on the edge of town, but on the first night, the walls whispered, and by the third, the house began to breathe. When Ethan and Claire moved into the old Kessler property, they saw it as an opportunity. The rent was absurdly low. The rooms were spacious. The backyard overlooked a forest. For a young couple struggling with bills, it was a dream. The landlord had only one rule: don't go into the basement. It's unsafe. They laughed about it, assuming it was full of mold or broken stairs. But Ethan noticed the way the landlord's eyes had flicked to the ground, like he was trying to keep something buried on the first night. The house was too quiet, and no traffic. No neighbors. Just the tick of a crooked grandfather clock in the hallway. And then, at 2:15 a.m., Claire woke Ethan. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Faintly, through the floorboards, came the sound of someone breathing. Ethan laughed it off, told her it was the pipes or the wind. But when he pressed his ear against the floor, he heard it too, slow, rhythmic, like lungs pulling air in and out. The next morning, they found scratches on the basement door, long, jagged marks, too deep for fingernails. They looked like claws up by the second night. The whispers started at first. It was only fragments. Leave, hungry, mine. Claire insisted they pack up and go. But Ethan was stubborn. It's just an old house. Old houses make noises. But old houses don't whisper your name. On the third night, Claire woke to the sound of footsteps in the hall. She shook Ethan awake. Together, they crept into the hallway. Empty, yet the floorboards still groaned, as if someone was standing right in front of them. They followed the sound until it stopped at the basement door. The breathing was louder now. Heavy, wet, like something too big to belong inside a human chest. The doorknob turned, but the door was locked at 3 a.m. sharp. The power went out. The house plunged into darkness, except for a faint red glow seeping from the cracks around the basement door. The whispers rose into a chorus. Dozens of voices, chanting words they couldn't understand. Then the door slowly creaked open on its own. The smell hit them first. Rot, damp earth, and something metallic. Ethan grabbed a flashlight. The beam flickered as if fighting against the dark. The stairs spiraled downward, deeper than the house should allow. Claire begged him not to go, but Ethan stepped inside, muttering, "We have to know." Every step echoed. The breathing grew louder. The air thickened at the bottom. They found a room carved into the earth. Symbols covered the walls, painted in something dark and crusted. And in the center, a figured, or what used to be one, that its skin was stretched thin, like parchment, and its chest rose and fell with labored, endless breaths. Tubes of flesh extended from its body into the walls, pulsing like veins. The house wasn't haunted. The house was alive, and the thing in the basement was its heart. The whispers rose into screams. The walls began to pulse. The floor heaved like lungs inflating. Claire screamed, "Ethan, we have to go." But Ethan stood frozen, flashlight trembling. The figure opened its mouth and whispered his name. They ran. Up the stairs. Through the hall. The house seemed to close in, doors slamming, windows sealing shut. The breathing followed, hot against their ears, at the front door. Claire managed to force it open, dragging Ethan into the cold night air. The house behind them shuddered, groaning like a wounded animal. Then, silence. The next morning, they returned with the police. But when they opened the basement door, there were no stairs. Just solid concrete, and no smell. No symbols. No figure. The officers laughed, muttering about stress and overactive imaginations. But Ethan knew what he had seen. And that night, as he tried to sleep in their new apartment, he heard it again, faint, through the floorboards, slow, rhythmic, breathing.